Hello, dear students. Today is the second session on the lesson Toys of Peace. In the last session, we dealt with the first part of the Toys of Peace. This second lesson, prescribed in your syllabus, The Toys of Peace, is a humorous short story by the British author Hector Hugh Munro. He wrote under the pseudonym of Saki. The story was first collected in 1999 in an anthology of the same title. So the story is set in 1914. The story actually satirizes the campaign by the National Peace Council, a coordinating committee of anti-war organizations against violent toys. The plot is set in motion when Eleanor asks her brother to buy peace toys to her children, Eric and Bertie, who are 10 years and 9 years old. Presented with the lead figures of noticeable civilians and other non-violent toys, the boys are at first unsure what to do with these small toys. So in the last session, we saw how Eleanor Bob shows her brother an article in the newspaper, and she asks him to get for this Easter toys of peace. That is, in the newspaper by the National Peace Council. The council has advertised an exhibition for peace toys at the children's welfare exhibition as an alternative to the toys that promote violence among children. This is to steer the boys away from their primitive characters, like they naturally love fighting and all the panoply of war. So the council recommends giving them toys of civilian figures and industrial tools instead of the soldiers with guns. So Eleanor suggests that her brother Harvey should bring some peace toys for as gift for this uh, Easter. This is her desire, and uh, so I will just take you to the previous, summary slide so that you can just have a look at it. How Eleanor asks her brother Harvey to get the toys models bearing civilian life, so that she can change the natural primitive instinct in boys to fight, use the toys of soldier guns, machine guns, and so that they are more oriented towards these kind of toys, like civilian toys, like social workers, great reformers, leading figures of the society, and they're introduced to these kind of figures. And she believes that toys of peace would be an impulse, would give an impulse or a direction to the children's mind because they are in the most impressionable age. Okay, this was what we did in the last session. Now the Easter gift arises. Easter is on Sunday, so the previous Saturday, Helena's brother, Eleanor's brother Harvey, yes, he gets the gifts to the children. Okay, so the children are anticipating eagerly. Now, what is there? What has Uncle got us for the gift? He has got a large box, you see, and so they are imagining that this is the gifts are all soldiers, a full battalion of soldiers with guns, machine guns, and although all the setup for the war. That is what they are expecting. But when the first item is out from the box, it is a featureless square building, and Bertie thinks first it is a fort. Okay, fort is coming out, the soldiers and the guns will come next. And Eric believes that it is an encouraged Albanian palace. This is what he thinks. Okay, so Eric and Bertie's expectations are different. But then Harvey, their uncle, introduces them a large garbage dustbin, and he tries to explain to them how this dustbin keeps the society clean. Okay, this is not taken well by the children. And he then takes out a lead figure of John Stuart Mill, the political economist, and other buildings of civilian figures follow, including a model of young women's Christian Associate Manchester branch building and a figure of the Sunday school founder, Robert Rikes. As you know, these are very important social figures, right? So when they hear that it is a young Christian, building, then these children are so much fascinated by war, history, all that. They say, an inquisitive Eric, who is the eldest, he asked his uncle, "Where are the lions then? If Christians are there, where are the lions?" Because according to him, he has read the Roman history, and he thought that wherever Christians are found, there must be some few lions, because he has read in history that how Christians were, attacked by, they were, sent into the gladiator game, and how they were allowed to be eaten by the lions, tortured to death because of their faith. So as he has read this Roman history, he's anticipating some lions, toys of lions to come out of the box, because there is a young Christian movement building, youth building, which has come out. So next thing is lions, according to him, and he was disappointed to find no lions. And then there are many tools and equipments like a wheelbarrow, a sewer ventilator, and a ballot box. Ballot box is used for election. You see, a sewer ventilator is where the chaff and the grain are separated. So all kind of this kind, the wheelbarrow, these equipments which are used for agriculture, for production of grain and election, the social setup, where we live in as human beings in our society, to introduce that to them, these kind of equipments are also brought by Harvey. Okay. Eric asks how they are supposed to play with this kind of civilian figures. He says what to do with this ballot box, what to do with this equipments. Then Harvey also brings out another civilian figure, that is Robert Rikes. He was a founder of Sunday school, and then a model of municipal wash house. Now, what is a Sunday school? This is where the children, do not attend the regular church on Sundays, but they only children are taken to a separate small place in nearby the church when the worship is going on in the church, so that they are taught the biblical things according to the children way. Okay, so the parents will be attending the church, and the children will be attending their little church. Okay, that is the kids' church. And this kids' church was found, this idea was generated by Mr. Robert Rikes. So he is a very important figure when it comes to the children history. So Harvey has got his figure. And then there is a municipal wash house also available as a model there to play. But the little round things which look like loaves baked in a sanitary bake house, you see how the baking house works and how those loaves look, even those toys are got. But Eric is still wondering, and he also asks, how are they supposed to play with these kind of civilian toys? So new games to play. Then the other civilian toys, such as sanitary inspector, who sanitary inspector is the person who takes care of the cleanliness of the place, the city. The district councillor, we have like DCs, who is the in charge of the district, and an official of the local government board, any local government board. So his figure is also there. So Eric warily asked his uncle what these civilians actually did. He was not aware. He knew what soldiers did, what commanders did. So Harvey told Eric how these officers took responsibility of their departments, and they kept the society moving. We all live in a setup when every mechanism of the system is working properly, our lives move smoothly, right? So it is very important that we have officers who take up their responsibility, people who do their job well, so that the whole society runs well, right? And the very intention of Eleanor and Harvey is to introduce the setup of the society to the children. Right. So these children are totally unaware. They are asking their uncle, how do, what do they do actually? And how are we supposed to play with these kind of toys? Because they are used to the toys of war, right? The machine guns, the soldiers, the army, the commander, and the bloodshed. We saw it in the first session, how they used to play. So even when they're asking this, Harvey has one more thing coming out of his box, and that is the ballot box, in which votes are put into election times. Like if you have to set up a parliament, toys are there in the parliament, they need to go through the election procedure to be in the parliament. So this is where the people come and cast their vote, and he shows the box with a place to put the vote in it. And then there is a funny, very humorous question from Bertie. He says, Bertie is curious to know what is put into it other times. That's a very valid question also. He says, like, look, this is an election box. I know. During the election, people put the vote there. But what about other times? How is this box used? So that's a very important question. Now, Harvey suggests that you can play with these toys, and he gives an example. He tells them, you stage, matlab, you act as if you're contesting for a seat of parliament. Okay, the boys are excited to imagine bloody, drunken fights, and Harvey quickly explains the question, election process. He says there is no fight, this is a contest, so there is no bloodshed or anything. People are going to vote, and you're going to elect our leader. So the boys lose really interest, and then they think, okay, better than playing with these new toys, it is good to work on the history homework. Why? The history homework is very curiously about studying Louis XIV of France, who is known for the cause of, he was, I can say, he's one of the biggest causes for the bloodshed in France, right? So, and Eric already knows all the major battles, during his reign. They all know that because these children are too much into this violence, bloodshed, and you can also see that boys are more attracted towards thriller movies, adventurous movies, action movies, So, and we can also note PUBG now. Those were the days of toys, and these are the days of digital world. So we can also note the example of PUBG here, right? So he says, better than playing these kind with this kind of civilian toys, it is better we go and do our history homework, which is more interesting because they can study about all the battles and the bloodsheds of Louis XIV in France. So again, Harvey is feeling, what to say, he's at end of the road, because he wonders that why, even when we are trying with the toys to avoid violence from the student, from the children, why is it that such kind of a history needs to be taught in the elementary school? Imagine they are in 10 years or 9 years old, so they're in elementary school. So without mentioning battles, murderous intrigues, and other forms of violence, he says not only the toys should be changed, but also, you know what to say, the syllabus should be changed. There should not be much battles, bloodshed, violence in the syllabus. Why it should be introduced to the small children? So with this pondering, with this thought, he leaves the place for the kids to play with the new toys. He expects that these toys will be helpful for them to steer their interest from the violent games they are playing towards this kind of play that he and his sister expects to play. So in this session, we saw what are the toys Harvey got for Eric and Bertie, the civilian toys, like the figures of great famous social reformist, municipality wash house, the authorities in the society, the offices in the society, how the setup of that, the models of that. So these are the civilian figures they have got for the kids for this Christmas as a gift. So Harvey also, in this session, we saw how he introduces all the toys to the children and how they can play. For example, he gives the setup of the election, how they can make a stage a election and play the parliament game. And also, we see how in this session, we see how the boys lose their interest. They're not interested in playing in the civilian toys. Better than these toys, they find their history homework because it has at least little more action as they are studying about Louis XIV of French, right? So this was the session for this second. This was what we do in the second session. Now in the third session, I will be going further to the story, and we will also once again summarize the whole lesson. Okay, thank you.